Like, there's just no way. And so I was like, at least hotels don't move. Like, I don't want to be waking up in the middle of the night. Like, your client, you know, drove down, like, drove into, like, the whatever, something on Rodeo Drive. Like, so there were no travel PR agencies in LA. So that was why initially I went to New York. But I took a small detour here to finish college. And when I did, I was able to intern for that woman, Andrea Hudmatsakos, who turned me on to travel PR. But then, like, I haven't really been able to get any other travel clients on my own. I kind of got pigeonholed into luxury lifestyle with Magellan Jets and the yachts and everything. But for me, that kind of ran its course. So now I'm getting back into the travel and back into, like, the islands, Caribbean, Mexico.
Oh, that's amazing.
And South America.
Oh, you know, I don't know if I've told you this, but have you ever done, have you ever sailed the BVIs and
No, so I've been to every island except the BVI. I haven't been to any of those islands.
Then you have to do that. You have to charter. So I used to go with a group and we would charter. I've done it 6 times where I've chartered, in the BVI and the USVI, and you can charter a catamaran from one of the companies down their moorings or any of the ones that they have, and you want to have it. It's kind of like camping. So you want to make sure you're in close quarters. You want to make sure the people that you like, you get along with, you know, they're good friends, and you can basically camp on the boat. You can barbecue on the boat. You can make dinner on the boat, and you move. This boat just is your travel from all the different islands. You go to Jost Van Dyke and all of these different places, and you're on the boat, on the catamaran. It's one of the most amazing, most beautiful experiences you'll ever have. I highly recommend it. Yeah, I do. And it's great. You fly into Tortola, and then you go. You can take it everywhere. You can take Virgin Gorda, and you can take it to Jost Van Dyke, and you can go Norman Island. There's so many places to see in 7 days. So, and then you have to just rent versus like getting a captain.
That's
you
a
can do it,
Dylan and I like to travel actually during like children's
He would
season.
like that.
Because he gets out of school in May, which is nice. I like to travel in June because the Caribbean is still nice, and like all those schools up north aren't out yet.
Right. Well, it's a good time to go. It's like October or June.
Okay. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's some experience. And I did it again in Thailand. I actually did it in Phuket, and I
went to Thailand?
Yeah, and we went there. Oh, the food's incredible. Really? Oh, the food is incredible. Yeah, and it's so worth it. It's so great. And we did the same thing. We went with another couple, and the 4 of us, we knew we got along with them, so we were in good quarters, you know. Right. And we rented same thing with moorings. We rented a catamaran, and we sailed for 10 days all around, and it was beautiful, and it was wonderful, and the food was fantastic, and it's a very easy lifestyle. It's, you know, no shirt, no shoes, no problem. Yeah. Like, it really is that way.
Right.
And everyone's so nice and they're gracious, and it's a cool trip. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm yet to do any real international traveling, but I've been traveling America since I'm 16.
Oh, wow.
Hitchhiking all over the country, different campers, like every state multiple times, like on the road for months at a time. But that was always my thing. I'm like, I have to travel America before I go abroad.
And see, I haven't seen much of America. I think that's amazing. I would love to do that.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, the hitchhiking thing was amazing. But like, and I have tons of video footage going back to when I was in my 20s, like on the road. Yeah, it was pretty wild.
So funny.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to be like my first hitchhiking trip. I was 16. Hitchhiking through Maryland and Annapolis. That was,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's where my sister lives.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you go to Woodstock? Did you go up there?
I was at both Woodstocks. You know, was it 93 or 94 was it? And 99. Yeah, I have footage of that.
That's cool.
Yeah, the 99 one was the one where everything burnt down. We were there, and Sunday morning we escaped. We were parked up against a fence that was connected to a golf course. And we were like, this is getting absolutely out of control. So we had a caravan of people, and we cut open the golf fence.
Smart.
Cut down the whole fence, and literally let a caravan of like 150 cars driving across the golf course. We didn't care. We're like driving on the greens. We had to escape.
You had to, yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane.
Thank God you were there.
The things that we saw there. I mean, listen, I'm not saying it wasn't amazing when it was amazing, but then when it got crazy, I was like, we're going to have to kill people. We got to get out of here.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and it was real. It's like they were charging ridiculous amounts of money for water. People had nowhere to, like, go to the bathroom.
Was that at the original Woodstock?
No, that was at Socrates.
I feel like I remember.
Like the original Woodstock. Like, we used to go to the original Woodstock every single year on the original Woodstock campground. they would have a reunion concert. There would be like 5,000 people would show up. And we did that for years. Absolutely amazing. Local bands.
Great music.
Great
Love
music.
that.
Everyone just like dropping acid, smoking weed, and eating veggie burritos. And you didn't care. You just camped. You just slept where you slept.
Right.
Didn't matter. This was different though. Like the 93 and 94, that Woodstock, that was amazing too. A friend of ours actually drove us up there and left us. Matt. We still talk about it to this day. We're like, I cannot believe our friend left us in Woodstock.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane.
Oh my God, he left you?
Left us there. But it didn't matter because we're like, we'll figure out how to get home when we're done. And that first day I remember just laying in the mud covered my entire body, and I just had a cigarette in my mouth, listening to Dear Mr. Fantasy, playing like Dear Mr. I was just like, I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
That's an amazing moment.
Yeah, it was,
Wow.
and I still have my clothes from that Woodstock.
That is
In a bag,
so cool.
with the sneakers, with the shorts, everything.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
I have a bag of my hair. It used to be this long. I cut it all off.
Wow.
I have journals upon journals of things that we did in our 20s. Like, absolutely insane.
See, that's incredible. I think that's amazing.
When you read through them, you're like, what was I thinking?
Well, that's how I'm going to write my book, though, because that's how Matthew McConaughey wrote his book, Green Lights. He locked himself in like a cabin for a season.
Yeah.
And reread all of his journals, and so that's what I'm going to do. Well, then everything I've been posting
That's
lately
great.
on social. The guy who's like the head of my social media team is like really learning a lot from me. He sees the value in working so close with me. He's only 26.
Oh, okay.
And so he asked me these questions, and I instead of texting him back like on WhatsApp, because he's also learning more English now too, it's like so sweet. I write my response to him like on a note, and I send it to him. And then sometimes I write when I write the description for the reel, it can only be 400 words, but I'll write more, and then I'll send it to him. But all those are like one page. It's like a page for a book.
Right,
So that will be on top of like the journals.
You've done an amazing job. What you've done with sharing your story, you've done it. You've been eloquent, you've been honest, you've been very motivating. I mean, you've really inspired a lot of people to really get the help that they need, and and also to empower them. I mean, you're making a huge impact.
Thank you.
I think it's fantastic.
It's so
I
important
really
to do
feel
the
that
work.
way.
I mean, listen, if you told me 5 years ago that life would be like this today, like I would have thought you were crazy. Like I couldn't imagine a life without drinking. I couldn't imagine life having to start over after leaving Charles. That was a hard time 5 years ago to leave him. But I promised myself enough was enough. I mean, Dylan was getting old enough to see the domestic violence, and it was just too much. Unfortunately, we couldn't save my wonderful husband from the drunk version of himself, so it was just getting too risky, and I had to move on, and that was the hardest part. And probably more so than his death was leaving and having to start over. And I know so many women are in that position, and they're like, oh, but it might just, it's so much easier just to be loved and be here. Yeah, because it's true. I've gone 5 years without a significant other, and that's hard.
A long time.
Thank God I had love in my house, so I had Dylan. So I was never really alone, so thank God for that. But it's not easy. Even now I'm dating again finally, but it's hard. I mean, I keep getting hurt, but thankfully it's like 6 weeks and then it's done, but still. It's like
the South Florida dating scene.
It was fine before. Even Dylan was like, Mom, I don't want you to, in the beginning of 2023, because I just don't want you to, I go, I'm ready to start dating. And he goes, I just don't want you to get hurt. And I'm like, but I'm okay right now. Like, I'm good right now. Like, before, like, when I met Charles, I was broken. We were very codependent. Like, now I'm whole. But finding another whole human is the thing, Not everyone is healed. And so now I start to become a little, like, I have boundaries now, and I'm not accepting breadcrumbs. So I do have to wait, even though it stinks. And it's like you go, like I was dating someone for like a couple months, and then it didn't work out. And then 6 weeks, it didn't work out. It's like, oh, you just feel like it stinks, because like every time it ends after you had that initial attachment, I kind of feel like I'm like naked and afraid or something. And you feel abandoned. It brings out those abandoned wounds again. Where you're like, I don't have anyone. But then I'm like, no, I do. I have friends, and I have Dylan, and that's why
Yeah.
I think there's so many phases of relationship that are important, though. It starts with yourself 100%. And then obviously I put so much into Dylan. He's on his own 2 feet now, so it's enough for me to build out my life. And relationships, friends are so important because the dating, those guys are going to come and go.
Right.
I used to look out for that more for Dylan, but for me too. Like I have to unfortunately I do have to keep my guard up a little bit in the beginning because I am ready. It's like I can move very quick. It's like one day and I'm like, all right, so let me bring my stuff over tomorrow.